Every day, I woke up, got dressed, and went to work. The drive to work was usually slow, as I did live in a big city, so the traffic was usually jammed. Sometimes it was slower than usual. There would be work on the road, and I would be late. Every time I was late, my boss would say to me, "One more time, and I swear to God you're out of here." That sentence never changed, and he never fired me. Sometimes I thought he was a robot, or that the day was repeating. But things would change, like the selection of donuts, or some of my coworkers wouldn't be in that day. After work, I headed straight home. If I didn't have beer, I would pick up a pack of Bud Lights on the way. They were my favorite. I didn't have a wife or kids, so the house was pretty quiet. I drank, watched some TV, caught up on the old episodes of the ghost shows that I watched. It's not like I believed in them, but they weren't boring like the other history channels I got. Around 9 o'clock, I would head to bed, and didn't wake up until the alarm sounded. Every day I continued this routine, until one day my alarm didn't sound. I thought maybe I had forgotten to set it, so I started my routine like usual. The shower was colder than usual, but not out of place. When I got to where the traffic was usually jammed, it was clear as day, only about 10 cars or so. Everything seemed dead, kind of odd. At work, my boss was out sick, but I was 2 hours late, and no one said anything. The next day, it happened again. There were less cars. My boss was there, but half my coworkers were out sick. The next day, everything turned to normal, like the abnormalities had never been there. I asked my coworkers, even my boss, but they never remembered being sick. But I brushed it off. Maybe it was my imagination after all. Today was Monday, the start of a grueling week. I always hated Mondays. At least by Tuesday, you'd always gotten into the flow of the week. But I guess everything starts somewhere. This morning, my alarm clock was missing. An imprint of the dust revealed that it used to be there. I looked around, under the bed, in my closet, even around the whole house, but I didn't find it. I got ready for work, took my shower, but for some reason the hot water didn't work. The shower was freezing. It left my spine tingling. As I made my way to work, the traffic was jammed like usual, but there were no people in the cars. As I passed them, they stood empty, as if people had just parked there and then left. I had to take an alternate route, making myself late once again. My boss yelled at me, but this time it was different. He told me to get to work, but as I made my way to the cubicle, there was no one else in the office. It was quiet. I asked my boss what was going on, but he froze, wouldn't talk to me. Finally, when he turned and opened his mouth, all that came out was a shriek that sounded like a backed-up printer trying to work out a jam. I had to cover my ears, almost hunched over from the sound. But when it was gone, I looked up to see my boss had disappeared too. Was this all in my head? I headed back home early. I didn't grab beer because I knew I had some left over. I walked into the house like normal, before heading to the fridge for a cold one. As soon as my hand went to reach for it, it disappeared right before my eyes. I was astonished, but thinking it was my imagination again, I reached for another one, only for the same result. Before I knew it, all the beers had disappeared. I slammed the door to the fridge. That too vanished before my eyes, leaving me in disbelief. The cord hung out of the socket, and there was a dust pile underneath. I decided to sleep for some reason. The clock read that it was 9, but I could have swore it was only 3, as I had just left work early. My head pounded, as if I had the worst headache ever. Luckily, my bed stayed there, soon lulling me to sleep as if it was the only thing to keep me sane right now. The next morning I woke up to my alarm, but it wasn't there yesterday. My cell phone rang. The caller ID read my boss. I opened it too, yelling at why I had missed the whole day of work. What did he mean? I was just there yesterday. Hanging up, I was blown back to find that it was Wednesday. But yesterday had just been Monday, the beginning of the week. I shook my head, finding my way to the bathroom to take some aspirin and take care of this pounding headache. I went up. I woke up to my head feeling like it was going to explode, but I don't even remember going to sleep.
Do you know how creepypasta has just those
When did my head touch the
background
pillow?
clips, just like a video
Last
of
thing I
like
remember
some
was talking to my
object?
boss on the phone,
Yeah.
then taking
I
aspirin.
downloaded this
Maybe the pills
vintage
had made
thing,
me
so it'd be
drowsy.
vintage.
I sat up only to realize my room was not my room. It was empty. The only thing in it was the mattress. I laid on it. Then I stood up, and I found the room and the rest of the house were just as empty, if not emptier, without a single piece of furniture anywhere. I walked outside. Luckily, my car was there, but the license
No,
plates were
I already
missing.
have
With the
recorded.
keys in the engine, I started up
My
the
voice
car.
recorded.
It sounded rickety, like the engine hadn't started in a few years.
I can download it.
I drove my usual route. The
Fucking
traffic
my
was
editor
normal,
comes
but
with
as I
like the
approached the
music.
car, I could see what looked like little lines fading in and out, almost like you would see on a TV when the static would appear. They moved at their regular paces. Sometimes the cars would glitch into each
Well, this
other.
is all gonna be my original.
It wasn't long before I made it to my office. I didn't see my boss this time. My coworkers mingled around each other. They talked in the same picture tone I had heard from my boss before. They also had these lines, and I could just swear it was a dream. I reached to pinch myself. The pain felt all too real, but my head was pounding, swirling. The room almost was turning. Trying to figure out what was going on. Were these even real people? I seemed almost calm on the outside, but I wanted to scream, demand who they were. I sat at my cubicle, turned on my computer, but it only came to a black command prompt screen. The slash symbol blinked as if ready for me to type anything. The first thought that came to my head was a computer virus. Then letters began to appear in bright red font asking, "Can you see them?" Can I see who? The lines? I typed that in the font, the small white letters like usual. The ones that don't belong, typed back at me eerily. It seemed like something out of a horror movie. What do you mean? I asked. Before I got a response, it took a few minutes. They're watching us. The people aren't real, only the things you can touch. With that, the screen disappeared, revealing my normal background, a beach, and a few folders containing work. I left after that, headed home. Instead of it being empty, everything was back.